This is Frank Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. Where's the call to ban Big Pharma? Do you realize that opioid prescription drug deaths dwarf the amount of shooting deaths that are out there? Sure, we have a lot of lunatics out there. The guy over in Parkland, the guy in Vegas. And then you get the usual suspects that start yelling about gun bans. They get their puppets out there, pulling the strings, pushing to take your constitutional rights away. That's the public response to anything that they don't like, anything. Unwanted speech, ban it. Guns, ban it. Yeah, you don't hear anybody talk about the real epidemic, the one that's killed more people than guns, the opioid epidemic. None of these would-be authoritarian politicians out there are calling for any bans on Big Pharma. You don't see the kids getting upset because so many mothers, fathers have died from Big Pharma. If you look at the latest federal statistics, opioid prescriptions killed over 33,000 Americans in 2015. Estimates put it at 36,000 deaths in 2017. That pales in comparison when you look at and compare it to something like Mandalay. At Mandalay, 59 people were killed. 560 times more people each year die from the opioid epidemic. That means that opioids alone are causing near equivalent of 2 Las Vegas massacres every day. It's criminal. It's obscene. Where are the calls? Where are the calls to ban Big Pharma? Because it's highly dangerous. Lethal. Could it be because Big Pharma is such a big contributor to political candidates, campaigns, the parties? I don't know. 300, if you look at Big Pharma, just in 2016, they contributed $60 million to political campaigns. That's a lot of money. Big Pharma's contributed somewhere in your neighborhood. $140 million to political action committees. You know, those individual politicians, political organizations out there. They thrive on Big Pharma's money. I know NRA does it too. But there's calls to get rid of the NRA, to get rid of our rights. Where's the calls to get rid of Big Pharma? You know, Trump administration has made some progress with the overprescribing of opioids. They got the presidential committee or panel, the Commission on Combating Drug Addiction and Opioid Abuse. They got new partnerships, researches across the board with new combinations and partnerships with academia, government, prescribers, patients. Trying to limit the amount of overprescribing. But no politician is calling for one, Big Pharma to be banned, despite the mounting death tolls that are out there. Overwhelming the medical examiners out there. Where are the calls? You do have some action like Governor Scott in Florida passed into law this new opioid crisis. This new legislation calls for tougher limits on most painkillers, limiting how much you can get down to up to 3 days worth unless it's a chronic pain, an acute pain. There's an exception that doctors can get up to 7 days. Goes into effect July 1st. Puts tougher limits, obviously. Puts out more money towards treatment programs. Requires physicians to check the state's prescription database. But it takes no action against Big Pharma. It does nothing against Big Pharma. And all it really is hurting the victims. Where do you think they're going to go? You limit them down to 7 days. They go to the streets. You limit it to 3 days supply. They go to the streets. Prescription pills, as I've said before, in the last 2 years have skyrocketed. So people turn to heroin. Now heroin is skyrocketing. So they're turning to meth. And yet, Big Pharma doesn't even get a slap on the wrist. Why aren't we calling to ban Big Pharma? This has been Frank Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.